Uh, we are starting the second module. The first topic is about demand. So definition, we will discuss the definition of demand. Demand, in simple term, demand means if I want a glass of water, that is my demand. But in economic terms, demand is something different. That there is difference between desire and demand. Demand, the starting point is always desire, but there are other factors which should be there if the desire has to be converted into demand. So demand may be defined as the desire backed by willingness and ability to pay for a particular product. Thus, for a demand to be effective, three factors are there. First is desire to buy, second is ability to buy, and third is willingness to buy. Suppose I want an aeroplane, that is my desire. But if I have money to buy that product, plus I am willingness to spend that money, then that will be called my demand. So three factors are very important to convert the desire into demand. One is there should be desire, the first factor. The second is you should have money to buy that product, and third is you are willing to spend that money to occupy that product. So this is the definition of demand. Second is function of demand or determinants of demand. So what are the factors on which demand will depend? There are several factors. The first thing is price. You are demanding something depending upon the price of the product. So that is first factor. Another factor is income of the consumer. If your income is high, your demand will be obviously high. If your income is low, your demand will be obviously low. So income of the consumer, the first determinant. Second determinant is price of the commodity. Third is price of substitute or complementary product. So if the price of tea is rising or going down, the demand of coffee will be affected, because coffee can be taken as a substitute of tea. Same applies to complementary product also. So if the price of petrol is rising or price of petrol is declining, the demand for automobile, car, bikes will also rise, or it will go down depending upon the rise or going down of the price of the petrol. So change in the policy is another factor. Change in the policy means the government policy. So how the government is increasing taxation policy, how the government is defining the tax slabs, depending upon that the price of product will be affected, and if the price of product plus supply of product in the market will be also affected, and depending upon this the demand for the product will be also affected. Other factors are taste and preference of the consumer. If you have developed taste for a particular product, particular brand, no matter what is the price, you are going to buy it. So the taste and preference of the consumer will decide the demand of the consumer. Another factor is existing wealth. So if your wealth, you have a sizable amount of wealth, your demand for the product will be high. If you have not sizable amount of wealth, your saving tendency will be high, and so your demand will also get affected. Another is expectation regarding future price change. If you know that tomorrow the price of vegetable is going to be up, there certain strikes are planned, so you are going to the price of the vegetable is going to be up. So what will you do? You will buy today itself for tomorrow's consumption also. So demand for vegetable increased up because you are expecting that the price of the vegetable tomorrow is going to be increased. So these are known as function of the demand, determinants of demand. What are the determinants? First is income of the consumer, second is price of the substitute, third is the price of the complementary product, another is price of the product itself, then government policy, taste and preference of the consumer, existing wealth of the consumer, and taste and preference of the consumer.